AIDS and crime is running wild in Johannesburg. They're killing one another over there. They're dying of sickness. The government is mismanaged. The people who ran the nation are now leaving the nation because black folk don't know how to run no nation.
Now, welcome. In today's video, I'm going to react on a video of this pastor who is degrading black people and degrading Africans. Whatever he's saying in this video is absurd. I don't know. I don't understand why he said it, but these are kind of the pastors who are colonized, mind colonized, brainwashed, and they are worshipping the white supremacy. Listen to this video, and then I come back again with my brother. We react on it as we do always. Don't forget to subscribe, comment.
Black people had Africa, that big old continent over there. They never built one boat that was seaworthy. Not one. There's not one monument in Africa, in all of Africa. I know you're talking about Egypt. Egypt is not Africa. There are no great cities that were built. Even before the first colonization of white people coming to the shores of Africa or the slave ships, black men built nothing. No sewer system, no houses above one level, and none of them made out of stone. All of them made out of grass and wood. Black men, before the white man ever got to Africa. The worst thing that could ever happen to South Africa was when they gave it to Nelson Mandela and black folk. That was a great nation. Now, notwithstanding apartheid was wrong, we all know it's wrong. I'm against it. There should have been some other resolution, though, than turning it over to Nelson Mandela. Disease, AIDS, and crime is running wild in Johannesburg. They're killing one another over there. They're dying of sickness. The government is mismanaged. The people who ran the nation are now leaving the nation because black folk don't know how to run no nation. They don't know how, and we need to admit it. I know you don't like it, but you need to stop shucking and jiving. We got a problem. Nigeria produces oil every year, yet the children over there are hungry and pot-bellied and walking barefoot. We got a problem. You talk about the Hutus and the Tutsis. Look what's going on in Zimbabwe now with Mugabe. We got a problem, black folk. And forget about Zimbabwe and South Africa, Nigeria. Look at what y'all have done in Harlem. You can't even hold on to Harlem. We got a problem. Black folk don't understand the world. You can get mad with me all you want. You can say what you, but you can't prove me wrong. Now, I'm not saying this because I hate black folk. I'm saying it because I love you enough to tell the truth. And the only person going to ever help us get out of the situation is going to be God. There's something wrong with the black man's mind. There's something wrong with his mind. He does not understand the world. He doesn't. I don't care if he learned medicine. He doesn't understand the world. He can't even hold on to Harlem. When he was here, he moved out. We got to talk to the Lord. People, we got to talk to God. And black women, Shirley Chisholm, Harriet Tubman, Coretta King, one of her boys. Yeah, okay, then we got a black president. But you black women, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all ain't got no sense, you black women. Your men treat you like the dogs, like your dogs. They walk all over you. They make you pay the bills at home, and then the preachers pimp you in the churches and make you pay the bills. Y'all crazy black women buying these black men private jets, the tune of $50 million for a crazy. Black people, let me tell y'all something. If you don't ever hear me say preach again, they can kill me tomorrow. Let me tell you something. We're not going to ever get anywhere until we look into the mind of a black man. He doesn't think correctly. I don't care what he is. He can be a doctor. He can be an astrophysicist. The nigga ain't got no sense. You talk to him. You talk to a black man. He doesn't understand the world. He's never built anything. The most the black people have ever done, they did it here in America under white people's help.
Welcome back. Welcome to my YouTube channel.
Okay.
You're good?
I'm very good.
Very good?
Yeah.
You have heard the video?
Yeah.
Before we start all this, chit chat, me and you, say something about the video.
I really don't know what to say, because I've been listening to this pastor, and sincerely, I do not have words to speak. The only thing I can say is that we should not actually follow that path, because if that is what we are going to do, then we are really going astray.
What has he done bad? What has he said bad that you feel like he does not support to say something like that?
He said Africans, we haven't done anything. Like, the only good thing we have done is to be sponsored to go to the US
by the white people.
Like, what this guy is trying to say is that Africans are good for nothing. Like, they have nothing to say before people. They have nothing to brag about. They have nothing to say. They have nothing to speak out to people. That is what he's saying. It's like saying we are just good for nothing. Africans should not even open their mouth and speak, saying, no, we shouldn't even try. That is what this guy is saying.
He said we never build even something, even a city.
Even a single thing.
He even don't know about Timbuktu.
We don't know anything.
He even don't know about Egypt, about Ethiopia. Cities that were there since back then. Timbuktu, like I said, there's a video I did. There's a part I did about the pastor. I was alone. And I decided, let me do this video with you today. Because it's like this pastor lack a history about the greatest city to ever been in the face of the world. That is Timbuktu, where it was only gold. We had Egypt, we had Ethiopia, and somehow the history, the Bible, most of it, the history in the Bible surrounds the life of Africans people. And I don't know why he chose to tell his congregation these words, but I feel like he's just like a messenger of the white people, the messenger of the supremacy. Because some words he said on this is that Africans or black people, we could not do anything. That means that before the white people came, or before the colonization, he's trying to say that black people, we were indeed dormant.
I've never experienced, I've never seen an African who speaks that way before. It is actually my first time to. This guy is a black American, right?
Yeah.
And sincerely speaking, I haven't seen any black person recently who has spoken in that kind of a manner, because like he exaggerated, like he did it. He was too much. He was too much into what he was saying. He said it with some kind of anger, with a lot of anger. And he was like frustrated because of a certain thing. I getting that. But if an African guy or an true African man
true
can stand before the congregation and speak in that manner, then we have a long way to go.
I feel like he was trying to say that Africans, we should wake up and blah blah blah. But
even if it was like trying to ask us to wake up, then you don't bring it in that manner. Africans have done a lot of things. Me and you know that the Western countries have been developed because of Africans. And everybody knows that. Me and you, we know that without us, without Africans, without the countries of Africa, the Western countries would not be looking the way they are looking today. Me and you, we know that our minds, the minds from the African youths and African individuals is being used to the Western countries. Who doesn't know that? So if you're telling us that Africans haven't done anything, then you don't really understand what you're saying.
Like, imagine speaking this kind of words in front of your congregation, where there is a white congregation and a black congregation.
Exactly.
So tell me, the white people who are in that congregation, what will they think of us Africans?
Exactly. And the black people in that congregation, how are they going to take your words? Because you're actually not addressing them. You're not encouraging them. You're not, what would I say? You're not teaching them, or maybe asking them, or maybe you're not encouraging them to do something. That is like demoralizing them.
And I think the work of the pastor is to encourage.
Exactly.
To boost the moral.
Shouldn't be speaking that way when he's a pastor, because even to some point I even thought he's a politician. Okay? Only to find out he was a pastor.
In front of whites and blacks congregation.
No.
Do you feel like Africans, we have done a lot that we need to be recognized in the face of the world?
Africa, leave alone even what we have done. Africa itself, Africa alone as a continent is a great name. Okay? Africa itself, just Africa alone, leave alone the things we have done, leave alone just Africa itself is a great name. And that is why the Westerners cannot live without coming to Africa.
They call us poor, but they still here.
Westerners cannot actually, they can't because let me ask you a question, a very simple question to answer your question.
Yeah.
If indeed we are people who cannot be recognized because we haven't done anything yet, then let me ask a very simple question. Why is it that the Westerners have to come to Africa? What are they doing to Africa? Go to South Africa, you'll find white people there. A lot of them, they're there. They're staying there. They're even struggling to have a huge say in South Africa, more than even South Africans themselves. What do they want to do in Africa if Africa isn't a great name or isn't a big continent? We have done a lot of things. Africans, they have done a lot of things. They need to be recognized in a bigger way. We might not have done it directly, okay? We might not have done it directly, but the impacts we have built, the reputations we have built, the things we have done, there are so many things
and
we have done.
And the first stop for the first way of recognition is by us as Africans to accept ourselves, accept what we have done, the change. Not every time seeing ourselves like the losers or like number two.
Not every time you're being told, oh, you're African, you don't even you haven't done anything, and we say yes, we Africans, you are fools, and hey, Africa. No.
So this pastor think that for black people being sponsored to go to USA or to America is an achievement.
Not achievement. He even thinks it's a favor.
He thinks it's a favor that they did for us.
Why are they making United States look like heaven? Why are they making the Western countries look like heaven, or maybe it look like Canaan, somewhere where everybody? Let me tell you something. It's not everybody who maybe cheers going to the United States, maybe going to the Western countries. Okay, some of us here in Africa, we are very okay. The only reason as to why Africa, maybe the countries of Africa are not looking like the Western countries, it is because they are interfering with our issues. They are interfering with our matters.
And again, on that note, sometimes I say Africa is not made to look like USA or to look like those industrial countries, simply because this country we are getting we are doing agriculture. How can we do agriculture? How can we build everywhere when we need this soil to do agriculture? In this soil is where we are mining. How can we build everywhere? Sometimes I feel like Africa is something that needs to be green always,
and because of that they've taken that as an advantage. So this is a place where we plant. Their work is to come and harvest and go. Okay? So their country is like a storage facility. And Africa is like it is like, for example, it's like when we in a home we have a store and we have what? We have farm. So when you harvest, you take to the store. Okay? So they are the storers in their countries. They are making bad use of us. They're really, it's not good. And
for these reasons, for this reason you have mentioned, is making this pastor to think that we are nothing.
We are nothing.
Instead of him looking the other side of how we are benefiting the white people.
He should be considering that.
He should be
looking. He should, before he speak, maybe before he takes out the words, before he actually portrays the words he's portraying right now, the first thing he needs to go and check how did the Western countries were able to reach to the place they are today.
Western countries could not do the farm work by planting their own sugarcane or their cotton. They needed to take slaves from Africa.
That's right.
Because why did they need slaves from Africa?
Because African people, they had more skills compared to them. Okay, and therefore without the skills we are having, they could not actually do that agriculture.
Right now, you see there's a lot of countries, Europe countries, they are looking for workers from Africa.
Exactly.
For example, Asia, Canada, Germany, they are looking for workers from Africa to go and work on their farms, to go and work on manual labor. Why are they not doing that kind of job, and they don't have jobs? And they are depending on social we call these funds, social funds. in Britain, we have seen where the British people are protesting, saying that immigrants has to go back to their home. But they are being reminded that if we go back to our home, you will not do anything because you cannot do this kind of job.
And so when we have gone there as workers, as laborers, we are working down, okay, down the water. We are the people who are working, okay. And when now the I would say maybe when the achievements come out, they grab the achievements and then they come up with it. So when we look at them, we see them, they're the one who are shining with the work we are doing down here. But we down here, we cannot be seen. Nobody can recognize us.
For example,
no one can see us.
For example, let's take example of Adidas clothes, or let's take example of Adidas.
Yeah.
Nobody recognize the manufacturer, like the industry that is making the shoes or the clothes, but we just see these clothes on the store and like, wow, they're looking good.
Yeah.
For example, farmers. Nobody recognizing farmers. We just see maize on the store in Eldoret town, and you see this guy has a good store. He's a very good businessman, and we never remember that we have a farmer who has worked hard in a year, in 8 months, to make sure this maize is growing. So when you are coming here and you start telling us that these farmers have not done anything, this businessman is the one who is doing anything, you don't know what you are talking about.
And let's take, for example, come here to Kenya. We have Indians who are doing business in Kenya.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something for a fact. There is no an Indian company here in Kenya you will come and find Indian workers in that company. You'll find African workers, Kenyan workers in that company. But when you go out there, you will hear people saying that Indian man has a very huge and big business, but you don't recognize the people who are working. The same thing is happening with us Africans and the people from the West. We are the ones who are working, because when they are coming to our country, they are coming to take out the things we have worked hard for to go and build their countries. Are you getting that?
Yeah.
Even in Africa, when they come to maybe to mine golds, they are not coming with their people to mine our own gold. Let me call it our own gold because it's in our country.
Yeah.
Okay? And it is in our continent. They're not coming with their workers and their laborers to come and mine. What do? They come, they use us to mine, they take it. Okay? It's like coming to your home to take something that belongs to you, and I'm actually asking you to give it to me. Okay?
Yeah.
That is what they are doing. Let's talk about everything. There is nothing, let me tell you something, there is nothing that, talk about football. We've spoken about football sometime. Jose Mourinho said, if all the Africans could go back to their countries and play for their countries, then Africa can produce the teams that are going to play in the World Cup, can produce the Ballon d'Or winners, can produce like it can produce a lot of things. Because you will never find any team, any football club in the Western country that doesn't have an African player. And mostly those African players, they do best in those teams. Talk about France. It has got 90% players, African players, 90%. Only 10% are the white players. And France has won World Cup with Africans. It has been played for many semi-finals with World Cup. It has reached finals with Africans. So can you sit down and see the impact of Africans in your countries?
When you talk about impacts of Africans,
yes,
this pastor cannot tell me that he does not use the traffic lights.
Yeah.
And traffic lights was invented by a black man.
You see?
And it's still used up to now. There's a lot of things. Black Americans. He's a black American, and a lot of black Americans. They are this oil they are using, which was invented by a black lady.
Okay.
So even if he's saying that we have not created anything, he has to remember that we have invented a lot of things as Africans. We have the richest man to ever lived in the face of earth. He's Africans, who was the king of Mali, Mansa Musa.
Yeah.
And we had the great city of Timbuktu, and yet he's saying we have never built anything. And even we never built a city. The history of the white people relies in the history of black people. White people does not have history.
They do not have
That's
history.
why they written history of we went to Africa. We went we discovered this because let me ask you something.
Yes.
Before you learn about the history of colonization coming to Africa and you learn about the Muzungus, have you ever had any of their history
Nothing.
before there.
Nowhere. Nothing. It has not been actually noted in any article.
That
it
means,
hasn't been aligned in any doctrine. I haven't met in before.
So their history, the history of the white people, started with us, Africans.
Yeah.
And
the reason as to, and they knew they have nothing to, like, they have
to write about them.
They even,
what could they write?
They even knew they are lesser to some point, like they are disabled at some point. And that is why Africa was the favorite place to come and invade. That is why they came before us, before you even realize who the kind of people we are, before we realized our potentials. They had already come to Africa so that they can be able to profit themselves from Africa.
Black people being the backbone.
Yeah.
See, we have a lot of countries. We have Japan, a story of Japan where the government is urging the people of the countries to go and marry black women or get married to black men because they need to, black people live long, so they need to strengthen their melanin, to strengthen their because the population is going down, so they need to rise their population, and they rely on black people. So I wonder how this pastor came up with these ideas in front of his congregation, in front of the white people. This is degrading Africa and degrading black people, and I feel like this pastor is a brainwashed, colonized. I don't know how to call it, but personally, I feel like he was off the hook.
The guy is a mess.
The guy is a mess for
He's
sure.
a complete mess. Whatever he has spoken, I didn't expect an African to speak in that manner.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't expect. If it's a white person speaking, well, but you telling Africans, like, we have not done anything, that there is nothing good that can be associated with us. You can't associate Africans with anything good. Anything. The only thing good is they have been sponsored to go. What is US? What is the United States? Those people are surviving because of us. It would not be by our achievements. It would not be by Africa. Those people would not be surviving the way they're surviving.
With our history.
With our history.
They
would never have history.
Because before black people, America were not growing cotton, were not growing sugarcane. Jamaica, there was not sugarcane, there was not cotton. But when they took the slaves to go there and they started. So every history of a human being in this world is a history of a black man.
And that is the reason as to why Ibrahim Traore is actually limiting the youths from Burkina Faso to migrate to the United States and the Western countries. Because he knows that the youths are the backbone of the country. Okay? And he knows when they are going there, they're just going to split their wisdom there and their intelligence there, their broad mind there, and therefore those countries will continue growing large, and we will remain the same every time.
What's your last word? What do you tell this pastor?
I want to speak,
or
to address him directly. If we cannot, charity begins at home. If we cannot actually appreciate our own selves, nobody's going to appreciate us. Okay? Let us not be like, the fact that you have lived in the United States, the fact that you have not been in Africa for some time, and now we are calling you a black American, doesn't mean that you should now start humiliating the Africa. Africa is a great nation, is a great continent. Okay? The countries of Africa, this if not only by the bad politicians, bad leaders, we would be somewhere else very far. Recently, Ibrahim Traore came up. He has impacted Burkina Faso positively in a very short time. Okay? That tells you and that shows you we only lack leadership to be where we are supposed to be. Are you getting that? They have come again, they've even brainwashed, they've even taken over our leaders. So our leaders are not working for the people of Africa anymore, they are working for them. And that is why we are the way we are. But that fact does not mean that Africans have not done anything good, or rather, it doesn't mean that Africans are good for nothing. Okay? What I would tell him is this: the way you have spoken to Africans, telling them how they are good for nothing, before you say that, can you go and check on the Westerners? How did the development came about? How did their power came about? They are good right now. They have developed their countries right now. They are well right now. When we see them as people who are wealthy compared to us. But before you do that, can you go and check the source of their way of life right now?
Yeah.
Okay? Ask them to leave Africa. And let's see if Africa is not going to take a very short time to even overtake them on the issues of development if we are going to have good leaders. Africa is a great continent. The countries of Africa are great nations. We know that because we are Africans, and we know we are not moving forward because there are people who are in our countries and they are the ones who are trying to pull us backwards. That is why we are not working to our best.
Okay. You have heard that from Levi Med. What I can say is that Africans were here, black people were here, the white people came. They found us in Africa and they started writing their own history. They said they have discovered Indian Ocean. We were here. They said they have discovered Mombasa. They have discovered South Africa.
Exactly.
We were here. They found us here. I feel because we never wrote our history, that's why they are using that to degrade us. But as a pastor, you don't need to join them and degrade as Africans, or to join them and belittle as Africans. We have never lose this battle, and we haven't lose this battle, and we are not going to lose this battle. Africa is for Africans, and we have more and more to offer, and we have made a lot of countries rich. As I say always, most of white people's country have been built in the back of Africans. Name it France, name it UK, name it Jamaica, the Caribbean, name it America. A lot of countries have been built in the back of black people. We have the richest people in the world from Africa, the richest town, city to ever been in the world from Africa. The history that is everywhere. Every history you are learning is from black people. So you can't stand there in front of the congregation, black and white congregation, and start saying that Africa are nothing. I'm leaving you as a pastor to this, my favorite people, for them to comment down there and tell me. Sometimes a lot will feel he's right and a lot will feel he's wrong. Tell me in the comment section, what do you think about this video, about this Omukambi, about this pastor, about this preacher. All in all, you can join my membership channel, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can comment, you can like, and if you love me, you know it's end month. Yeah. You know, end month. Until next episode, peace be with you.